Chapter 1. Bite Me Vegas. Aiden Hart woke up with his face buried in a pillow that definitely wasn't his, silk sheets tangled around his legs, and a pounding in his skull that screamed, "Never drink again, idiot." The suite was too clean, too luxurious, and too suspiciously quiet. The faint scent of expensive cologne clung to the air: musk, danger, and money. He sat up with a groan, squinting against the morning light seeping through half-open blinds. That's when he saw it. A bite mark. On his neck. "Nope. No," he muttered, stumbling toward the bathroom. The mirror confirmed it. A perfect crescent of teeth already darkening into a bruise. His heart stuttered. What the hell happened last night? Flashes returned in brief, mocking flickers. Neon lights, loud music, shots he definitely shouldn't have taken, and golden eyes staring at him through a haze of smoke. A man, tall, intense, smirking like he owned the world. Great. He got drunk, possibly did something incredibly stupid, and left Vegas with a souvenir in the form of a bite mark. Classy. 2 days later, he was back in New York, pretending his life wasn't spiraling. As the newly appointed CEO of Hart Enterprises, Aiden had more important things to deal with, like keeping his late father's company from collapsing under corporate vultures. No time for mysterious men or questionable hookups. He sat in his office, nursing a black coffee like it was holy water, when his assistant buzzed in. "Mr. Hart, there's Lucian Moretti here to see you." Aiden blinked. "Who?" "He says you'll know him." Before Aiden could decline, the doors swung open like a scene out of a dramatic soap opera. And there he was. The man from the club, the one with the golden eyes. Lucian Moretti strolled in like he owned the place, black tailored suit, rings on his fingers, an aura of money and menace that made Aiden's skin prickle. "Nice office," Lucian said, voice smooth and amused. "But I preferred the suite in Vegas. You were far more vocal there." Aiden stood, eyes wide. "Excuse me." Lucian's lips curled. "You don't remember. That's disappointing. But it doesn't change the fact that we bonded." "We what?" "You're mine now, Aiden. I claimed you that night. Marked you." His gaze flicked to the fading bite on Aiden's neck. "And you didn't say no." Aiden's brain short-circuited. "Okay, Mr. Mafia Drama, I don't know what weird Twilight fanfic you think we're acting out, but I'm not yours. There is no bond. I was drunk, probably drugged, and you probably bribed someone for that bite." Lucian only chuckled. "Deny it all you want. You'll feel it soon." 3 weeks later, Aiden was throwing up in the morning. His moods were all over the place. Food smelled weird. His scent was changing. The doctor confirmed it. The impossible, the absurd. He was pregnant. Alpha? Aiden Hart. Pregnant. He stared at the test results in stunned silence, muttering just one word. Vegas. Chapter 2. Denial, Sarcasm, and Stalking. Aiden Hart had faced hostile boardrooms, aggressive investors, and the occasional shady businessman who reeked of danger. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared him for Lucian Moretti's level of commitment to stalking. It started subtly, a sleek black car parked across from his building. Security footage showing the same man in tailored suits, casually leaning against lampposts. And then, Lucian showed up at his board meeting. Not as a visitor. As a major shareholder. "You bought shares in my company?" Aiden hissed under his breath as Lucian took a seat at the meeting table like he'd always belonged there. Lucian smirked. "Just protecting what's mine." "I'm not yours," Aiden snapped, his voice a low growl. "Tell that to the baby," Lucian replied calmly, sipping his espresso. "The bastard even brought his own espresso machine to the office. Who does that?" Avoiding Lucian became impossible. He was there when Aiden left his penthouse. He was there at the cafe Aiden never told anyone he liked. And the final straw? He showed up at the OB/GYN appointment. In disguise. Wearing sunglasses and a hoodie. Aiden spotted him immediately. "You're a billionaire mafia king. Why are you lurking in the hallway like a creepy teenager in a hoodie?" Lucian tilted his head. "Your doctor seemed nervous. I wanted to ensure no one harmed you or our child. Okay. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. Lucian didn't respond. Instead, he handed Aiden a paper bag. What is this? Soup. You skipped lunch. I don't even... Wait. Is this chicken broth with ginger and scallion? Lucian looked smug. You said you liked it. I don't recall. You mumbled it in your sleep in Vegas. I took notes. Aiden gawked. You took notes? Lucian was a walking contradiction. He'd kiss Aiden's temple gently in the morning and snap someone's wrist in the evening for daring to look at Aiden for too long. He'd cook elaborate meals, make sure Aiden's feet were warm, then turn around and threaten a rival gang boss for daring to send Aiden flowers. You do realize you're insane, right? Aiden muttered, watching Lucian argue with a hitman on his front porch. I'm devoted, Lucian corrected, slipping back inside like it was no big deal. Aiden was flustered, annoyed, grumpy. And, God help him, he felt safe, protected, warm. Which only made it worse. Because he was starting to like it, like him. But he'd rather jump off a cliff than admit that to Lucian. So instead, he said what he always did. You're lucky I don't file a restraining order. Lucian smiled, brushing Aiden's hair off his forehead with soft fingers. You're lucky I'd still love you anyway. Aiden's heart did something inconvenient, like flutter. He scowled harder. Chapter 3. Enemies and Confessions. When Lucian Moretti said, "The world will know you're mine," Aiden thought it was just another dramatic Mafia line. He was wrong. 2 weeks later, the media exploded with headlines. Billionaire Mafia King marries rising CEO. And there Aiden was, dragged, read, coerced with persistent affection, relentless pampering, and the tiniest bit of blackmail, into a wedding that had white roses, champagne fountains, violins, and at least 3 suspiciously powerful men from countries Aiden didn't want to ask about. I can't believe I'm doing this, Aiden muttered, standing at the altar. Lucian stood opposite him, eyes full of warmth and devotion, looking at Aiden like he'd just stepped out of a dream. He even had a silly grin, the kind that made Aiden's insides flutter in a very annoying way. You look beautiful, Lucian whispered, barely able to contain the joy in his voice. Aiden rolled his eyes but couldn't hide the faint blush creeping up his cheeks. Shut up and say your vows. Lucian chuckled. Gladly, husband. Fast forward 5 months. Aiden's baby bump was now very real, and so was Lucian's obsession with it. He wouldn't let Aiden lift a finger. The man once threatened a vacuum cleaner for making too much noise while Aiden was napping. Aiden would never admit it, but he secretly liked the attention, even when Lucian talked to his stomach in a soft voice and kissed it every night like it was the most sacred thing in the world. Then chaos struck. A rival corporation launched a sabotage attempt to destroy Hart Enterprises, the legacy Aiden's father built from scratch. Lucian immediately offered to handle it. And by handle, he meant intimidate them until they cried. But Aiden refused. This is my company, my father's dream. I'll protect it, Aiden said, standing tall in a sleek business suit that no longer buttoned fully because of the bump. Lucian's jaw clenched. You're pregnant. Let me? I'm pregnant, not fragile. Aiden marched into the lion's den, aka the corporate boardroom, and came out hours later having eviscerated the sabotage attempt. Mergers reversed, stocks recovered, executives were fired, sued, and blacklisted. He did it, without Lucian's help. Lucian was both proud and panic-stricken. Proud because his husband was a savage. Panic-stricken because he almost passed out watching Aiden yell during a board meeting while holding his belly. Everything settled. Until it didn't. During a business trip, a rival mafia group cornered Aiden. They nearly kidnapped him. Nearly. Because Lucian arrived like a storm, dressed in wrath and black leather. Gunfire, shouting, broken bones. Aiden barely remembered anything but the feeling of Lucian's arms around him as he was pulled into safety. Once they were back home, Aiden exploded. You promised I'd be safe, he yelled, voice cracking. I'm pregnant, and I almost... His breath hitched. The fear, the anger, the adrenaline. It all crashed at once. Lucian dropped his guard. He held Aiden close, breathing shakily. I can't lose you, he whispered into his hair. You think I'm possessive because I'm obsessed? No, it's because loving you terrifies me. I've never had anything to lose before. Now I have everything to lose. Aiden's hands trembled as he clutched Lucian's shirt. And in that moment, something shifted. Something deep and scary and warm. Aiden didn't say it out loud. But maybe, just maybe, he had started to fall in love with Lucian Moretti. Chapter 4. Mate and Baby. By the 9th month, Aiden Hart was convinced that pregnancy was a cosmic punishment for that one drunken night in Vegas. Don't touch me. But love, I swear, Lucian, if you call me sunshine, one more time while my back feels like I've been hit by a truck. Lucian shut up instantly and offered foot rubs, with lavender oil, on one knee, shirtless. Aiden still called him a ridiculous idiot. But he leaned into Lucian's touch, because deep down, under the sass, mood swings, and back pain, he was hopelessly, undeniably in love with the Mafia king, who now acted more like a golden retriever than a feared billionaire. Their penthouse had turned into a baby paradise. Plush toys, gold-trimmed cribs, and an obscene amount of designer baby clothes, all handpicked by Lucian, of course. I bought 27 onesies, Lucian said proudly one evening. She's going to wear spit and chaos, not Versace, Lucian. Lucian ignored the sarcasm and continued his nightly ritual, talking to the baby bump. Aiden lay in bed, exhausted but glowing, watching Lucian rest his head on his stomach and read fairy tales. With this story, you'll know how to fight dragons, baby girl, Lucian whispered, voice soft and melodic. She's going to fight Mafia men like you, Aiden mumbled with a smirk. Lucian only smiled, brushing a kiss against the curve of Aiden's belly. Then came the night. There were no guns, no enemies, no chaos. Only Lucian screaming louder than Aiden as they rushed to the hospital. And hours later, the world stopped. Wrapped in soft pink blankets was her. A baby girl with Aiden's eyes and Lucian's wild, dark curls. Lucian held her like she was the most fragile, precious treasure the world had ever created. My princess, he breathed, voice shaking. You're perfect. Aiden, sweaty, exhausted, and emotional, looked over at his husband, his mate, and their daughter. Lucian glanced at him, eyes glassy but shining. I've killed men for less, he whispered, but I'd die for both of you. Aiden chuckled through tears, reaching for them both. Lucky for you, you don't have to. And in that moment, chaos faded. The Mafia, the corporate wars, the enemies, all gone. Replaced by lullabies, warm bottles, soft kisses, and the kind of love that was fierce, messy, and forever. Aiden Hart Moretti had fallen in love with the Mafia king, with their daughter, and with the wild, absurd, luxurious life they built together.